So I've been looking for a project in Bombay for the last 4 or 5 years. It's been a very difficult search because most developers in Bombay talk big about their projects, but when it comes to delivering on the ground, they're far behind. I've almost looked at over 2 dozen projects and have never really come across anything which at least met our standards, my family's expectations. And I think when we looked at one Avighna, through a friend, I very quickly realized how much thought had gone into designing the project and really addressing many of the concerns that most buyers have when they look at buying their dream home. When I looked at it, I think there were two things which were very critical for me in particular. Besides the obvious ones around price and location, I think the two things which really mattered to me and my family were, one, the fact that the project on the ground had demonstrated a lot of progress, because there's a lot of times when people say groundbreaking to actual possession is 4 years, but in reality when you actually calculate that, it's much longer, versus if you look at Avighna's case, it's of the 64 stories, 51 are already in place. The team is very much focused on delivering this project. There are no distractions on other projects at all. Everyone's truly aligned in delivering this project in the time that's been committed, which I think is a big deal as far as a home buyer is concerned, and it's very, very important to me. The second piece, I think, which is important again and often gets overlooked, is while we're willing to spend a lot of money in buying a house, we don't realize what the total cost of ownership for a house is. And we forget about how much maintenance will be required once we buy the house. And that's where I think, again, the point that I was making earlier around functional and pragmatic design really comes in, where One Avighna has really gone in and taken a lot of effort to design the project in a manner that the total cost of ownership for the resident is the lowest possible. And a bunch of examples which I can allude to, having now spent a lot of time on the project. One, it's a cluster redevelopment project, so the property taxes are much lower than other projects. Second, if you look at the design, if you've seen the project, you'll see there's a lot of natural light and ventilation in the common areas, which reduces the requirement for air conditioning, which again brings down the electricity bills quite significantly. The water which will be there in the building will be recycled, the wastewater, and will be used for gardening and other purposes, which again reduces the overall utilities cost for the building. So there are many such examples which the developers have consciously focused on, such that the overall maintenance cost of the building is much lower than comparable buildings in the vicinity, which ultimately means luxury at a more affordable price in a more sustainable manner, which I think is quite important. So I'd say for those two reasons, I was particularly motivated to purchase apartment in One Avighna, and I'd highly recommend it to other people as well.